Ever placed a bet on a sporting event? Or maybe a friendly wager with your buddies on who'd win the big game?
Yeah, definitely.
You probably had some odds in mind, right? Like, what were the chances of your team actually pulling it off?
For sure. Gotta have some skin in the game.
But have you ever stopped to think about where those numbers come from? Who actually dreams them up?
Honestly, I never really thought about it.
Well, get ready to dive into the fascinating world of odds compilers, the masterminds behind those betting lines. We're pulling back the curtain on this unique career path today, all thanks to some awesome insights from RoleCatcher.
RoleCatcher, yeah, they're a platform with a treasure trove of career resources and tools, I've heard.
Exactly. And they've really dug deep into this one. See, it's a role most people don't fully grasp.
I can
They
imagine.
see a number attached to their favorite team or athlete,
Right.
but there's a whole lot of strategy and analysis bubbling beneath the surface.
It's like looking at a finished painting and just seeing the brushstrokes. Not the artist's vision, right?
Exactly. So let's get into the nitty-gritty. What does an odds compiler actually do? How do they blend math and, dare I say, gut feelings to make those predictions?
Well, at its core, it's about assessing risk and predicting outcomes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Odds compilers are diving deep into data. Past results, player stats, weather forecasts.
Weather forecasts.
Yeah, even news sentiment, you name it. But they're not just plugging numbers into algorithms, there's a real human element to it.
That's what I find so fascinating. They're not just statisticians. They need to understand how people behave, how fans think.
Precisely.
Hmm.
Let's say a beloved underdog team is facing off against a reigning champion.
Okay, I'm picturing it.
On paper, the champion's odds should be overwhelmingly better.
Right.
But a savvy odds compiler factors in the hope factor. They know fans might bet with their hearts, placing those long shot bets on that underdog, hoping for an upset. So the odds get tweaked, reflecting not just the statistical probability, but the potential human factor as well.
That's incredible. It's like they're predicting the future of a game by factoring in both the logical and the emotional. And those predictions carry some serious weight, don't they?
Absolutely. A miscalculated odd can mean big losses for the bookmaker.
Ouch.
And potentially for the bettors, too. So there's this constant balancing act, keeping the odds attractive enough to encourage bets, but not so favorable that the bookmaker takes a hit if the underdog triumphs. It's a high-pressure role, for sure.
I bet. It's not just about crunching numbers and understanding sports fans, though. What about those who set odds for things like political races? Or even reality show outcomes?
You've hit on a key point. It's a common misconception that odds compilation is solely about sports.
Right.
While it's a significant part, the field is much broader. Odds compilers might work on anything with an uncertain outcome. Think elections, entertainment awards, even financial markets.
Wow.
It's about applying those core principles of risk assessment and prediction to different domains.
That takes serious adaptability. Constantly learning new things, understanding different markets. Speaking of understanding markets, how has technology, particularly in our digital age, impacted the work of an odds compiler?
It's been revolutionary. RoleCatcher's deep dive into the odds compiler's work environment really brings this to light. They've gone from relying on intuition and hand-calculated formulas to using sophisticated software and algorithms.
So instead of just looking at spreadsheets, they're using next-level tech to make these predictions. What kind of tech are we talking about?
Think predictive modeling software that analyzes decades of data, factoring in everything from historical performance to weather patterns, even social media sentiment to gauge public opinion. Imagine an odds compiler setting the line for a political election. They could use sentiment analysis tools to track how people are reacting to candidates online, identifying shifts in public opinion that might not be reflected in traditional polls.
Wow, so they're not just crunching numbers, they're reading the digital tea leaves too.
Yeah.
It sounds like a career that demands a unique blend of analytical skills, industry knowledge, and that sixth sense for what's going to capture the public's attention.
It's a fascinating field, that's for sure.
But let's be real, what does the path to becoming an odds compiler actually look like?
Well, RoleCatcher outlines a pretty clear progression, starting with that entry-level junior odds compiler role.
Okay, so for someone fresh out of uni, maybe with a head for numbers and a passion for predicting the unpredictable, where do they even begin?
Think of it like an apprenticeship. You're learning the ropes from the ground up, assisting senior compilers, making sure those calculations are airtight. A lot of it is about absorbing information, getting familiar with the tools, and of course the industry landscape.
I imagine there's a lot of data entry too. Maybe not as glamorous as setting the odds for the Super Bowl, but crucial nonetheless.
Absolutely. It's about building a strong foundation. And as you prove yourself, demonstrate your analytical chops.
Hmm.
You can climb that ladder to becoming a full-fledged odds compiler.
Okay, so no longer just fetching coffee and crunching numbers. Now they're calling the shots.
Exactly. Setting odds independently, monitoring customer accounts, working directly with those trading teams. This is where you start seeing the bigger picture. How your predictions fit into the overall strategy.
Hold on, trading teams. What are we talking about here? It sounds a bit Wall Street.
That's a great question, and it highlights how interconnected this role can be. Trading teams within a bookmaking operation, they manage the financial risk. They're the ones analyzing the flow of bets, adjusting liabilities, ensuring the bookmaker remains profitable regardless of the outcome. Odds compilers work closely with these teams, providing expert insight on how the betting public might react to certain events, ultimately influencing how those risks are managed.
It's like they're whispering in the ear of the market, influencing the game without ever placing a bet themselves.
It's a delicate dance.
And with experience, that whisper turns into a more commanding voice, right? What does the path to senior odds compiler look like?
That's where things get really interesting. It's not just about setting accurate odds, it's about leadership, strategy, and a deep understanding of the market.
So we're talking mentoring junior compilers, leading research initiatives,
Yeah.
maybe even advising the higher-ups on big-picture strategy.
You got it. They're analyzing competitor activities, identifying emerging trends, and using that knowledge to develop, winning formulas for their own bookmakers. They're constantly asking, what's the next big thing in betting? How can we stay ahead of the curve?
That sounds intense. It's clear this isn't just a job. It's a career that constantly challenges you to learn and adapt. But all this talk of data and strategy makes me wonder, with the rise of artificial intelligence and machine learning, could a machine ever fully replace the human odds compiler? It's the age-old question, isn't it? Can technology really outsmart human intuition?
It really is.
Because on one hand, you've got these algorithms crunching numbers at lightning speed, spotting patterns we might miss completely.
And let's not forget, AI thrives on data, right? I mean, the more information you feed it, the more accurate its predictions become. In a way, the world of odds compilation, with its constant stream of data and all those variables, it seems practically tailor-made for AI.
So are human odds compilers destined to become obsolete then? Just replaced by algorithms that can churn out, hyper-accurate odds 24/7?
It's a fascinating question, and to be honest with you, there's no easy answer. While AI can undoubtedly enhance the process, I really do believe the human element will always be absolutely crucial. Think about it. Sports, politics, even reality shows, they're all driven by human behavior, which, let's face it, can be unpredictable, even irrational at times.
It's that X factor, isn't it? That hunch that a team on a losing streak might just pull off an upset, or the gut feeling that a seemingly predictable election could have some crazy surprise twist.
Exactly. It's about understanding those nuances, the whispers beneath the data points. Can an algorithm really predict when a star quarterback is going to have an off day because of a fight with their partner? I don't think so. Can it factor in the motivational boost a team gets from thousands of fans chanting their name?
Those are insights you can't necessarily quantify or input into an algorithm, are they? It's the art of understanding the human element, the passion, the drama that unfolds behind the scenes.
Precisely. And that's where human odds compilers truly shine. They can connect the dots, weigh the intangible, and make those judgment calls that go beyond just pure statistics.
So it sounds like the future of odds compilation might not be about humans versus machines, but rather this powerful partnership between the two.
Absolutely. Imagine AI handling the heavy lifting, crunching those massive data sets, identifying trends and patterns. And then you have the human odds compilers acting as the strategists, the interpreters, using their intuition and knowledge to refine those predictions, to find those hidden edges that can make all the difference.
It's like having a co-pilot in the cockpit, someone who can read the instruments but also feel the wind, anticipating those sudden shifts and turns.
That's a fantastic analogy. And for anyone who's intrigued by this dynamic field, I have to say that RoleCatcher provides a fantastic launchpad. They've got in-depth breakdowns of each career stage, potential salary insights, even interview tips, believe it or not. So whether you're a data whiz or just someone with a knack for predicting the unpredictable, they've got the resources to guide you.
It's a career path that's constantly evolving, mirroring the fast-paced world it seeks to understand. So if you're ready to dive into a world where numbers tell a story, and those stories can lead to some really exciting outcomes, head over to RoleCatcher and see where your curiosity takes you.
It's been a real pleasure exploring this with you today. Who knows, maybe one day we'll be analyzing the odds on one of you becoming a top odds compiler.
Until then, keep asking those curious questions, keep exploring those intriguing career paths, and we'll catch you on the next deep dive.